Leaves from my journal, Logan Pierce's daily writings on the Washington, D.C. South Mission. Day 37, May 4th, 2006. Today I got some stuff for my bike. It wasn't P-Day, but it was on the way home from where we were, so we stopped in and got some supplies. I got a new seat for my bike, which I can't wait to try out. My other seat is rock hard, not a lot of fun. I also got some fenders for my bike. This will keep the mud from splashing up on me. Just in time, too. I hear we're supposed to get some rain any day now. Day 38, May 5th, 2006. Zone meetings. Today is zone conference. I don't know what to expect. My companion says they're really good. So if I hear any good missionary tips, I'll write them in here. I'm going to go ahead and talk about my companion, Elder B.U. Elder B.U. is from Malad, Idaho. He's the youngest of 4 children. He has 3 older sisters. His right foot has a brace on it. When he was a young boy, he cut his leg on some glass. It went down to the bone. The reason his leg still needs a brace is because when the doctor stitched up his leg, he didn't sew the tendons together proper, and it messed up his leg. As a result, he walks on the right side of his right foot. It doesn't affect him too bad, though. He bikes and runs much faster than I can. He's very sporty. He played football in high school, or something like that. Frankly, whenever anyone starts talking sports, I tend to zone out. President BR's Zone Conference Talk. The concluding message President BR left us with was, Be one. D&C 3827 says, I say unto you, be one, and if ye are not one, ye are not mine. What are the fruits of being one? In World War II, the German army's blitzkrieg worked as one to take control of France. I thought about Walt Disney's victory through air power, how the German planes would take down the defenses, thereby opening a way for the tanks to get into the heart of the city. After his talk, I talked to President BR about this, and he said, we can learn much from our enemies. We can use our own talents to achieve a common objective. The tanks wouldn't have gotten very far without the planes to clear the way, just as the planes by themselves couldn't do it alone without the tanks controlling the ground forces. By using this same philosophy, we can be better missionaries by working together and using our own strengths to help others. He also gave the parable of the bickering brothers. Now, he didn't say it quite like this, but it goes, a farmer had 4 sons, and they were a quarrelsome bunch. They were always fighting, fight. They were always bickering, bicker. And there was contention among them. So the farmer called his sons together and said, my sons, go and gather me some sticks. So they went and brought many sticks to their father, and he told them, you, my sons, are like these small sticks. As you go through life, you will face many hardships. And he gave unto each of his sons a stick, and asked them to break it. After they had broken them, he said, alone the sticks are very weak. He then took 4 more sticks and bound them tight with strong rope, and said unto his sons, now break them. And he gave the bundle of sticks to his sons, and they took turns trying to break it. After they had all tried, they said, Father, we cannot break the sticks. My sons, said the father, as this bundle of sticks stood firm and would not break, so shall you stand firm through trials as long as you work together. The brothers resolved to work in harmony and ceased to contend one with another. And the moral of the story is, if you stick together, you'll make a bundle. President BR asked us what the word juggernaut meant to us. Needless to say, a young missionary's thoughts turned to X-Men. One of them even raised his hand and said, Juggernaut is a mutant on the X-Men. His powers include invincibility and superhuman strength and endurance. President BR thought for a moment. Strength and endurance, he said. An unstoppable force. A juggernaut. That's what we need to be as missionaries. We need to be unstoppable. We must always be engaged in a good cause. We can't be discouraged if we encounter hardships while on our mission. We have to keep going. He talked next on the 4th book of Nephi, how the rise and fall of the Nephites is described in 4 pages. Read 4th Nephi when you have the time. It's an amazing book in the Book of Mormon. 4th Nephi verses 3, 5, 11, 13, and 15 are all good scriptures about how the Nephites prospered in the land when they did not contend with each other, because the love of God dwelled in the hearts of the people. There was no contention amongst the people. How critical is the impact of contention against the success of our work? How critical was contention against the success of the Nephites? After Jesus Christ left the Nephites, how long did they remain free of contention? We read in 4th Nephi 24 that in the 201st year, something happened. What emerged in the 201st year that began to unravel the peace of the people? Pride. What is the connection between pride and contention? When we're lifted up in pride, we are focused on what we want and contend with anyone who says different. If, on our missions, we strive to do what's expected of us and not what we want, we'll be better missionaries. I'm trying to keep what I want, what is expected of me. Pride is gratifying our selfish desires. Don't be lifted up in pride. Luke 15:11 through 32 is the parable of the prodigal son. Notice where the pride and contention was. The prodigal son was prideful until he ran out of money. Then he humbled himself and wished to return to his father, not as his son, but as a humble servant. The father, so glad to see his son return home, held a huge party in his honor. When the older son learned that his brother was getting a party, he was angry and would not go in. He couldn't understand why his father would celebrate the disobedient son's return and not honor him for all his obedience. I've always thought the real point of the prodigal son was the older brother. It's a great story about how the prodigal son humbles himself and the power of forgiveness, but let's focus on the father and the older brother. Are we like the father who is happy to see his wayward son return and promises that he wants to be a better person? Or the older brother who still remembers all the bad things his brother did and won't let him forget? The Lord has accepted him back. Why can't you? This is a quote from L. Tom Perry, who encourages us to forget the past actions of those who are willing to change. In your mission, the biggest spot of contention isn't arguing with a contact. It isn't getting doors slammed in your face. The most dangerous place in the mission can be in your apartment. When you get inside, you're tired. It's been a hard day of missionary work. You relax, you let your guard down. That's when contention can rear its ugly head. Don't let it be a factor for you or your companion. Don't harp on your companion's faults. If you invite the spirit of contention, that's when Satan's there with his fiery darts. I'm reminded of "O Brother, Where Art Thou?" Sounded like he was harboring some hateful grudge against the Soggy Bottom Boys on account of their rough and rowdy past. Sounds like Homer Stokes, the kind of fellow who wants to cast the first stone. Ooh. Oh, I'm with you folks. I'm a forgive and forget Christian. And I say, if these boys' rambunctiousness and misdemeanoring is behind them, it is, ain't it, boys? Yes, sir. Well, by the power vested in me by the great state of Mississippi, these boys is hereby pardoned. It was also a big day for my companion, Elder B.U. They asked at zone conference who had been in a bike area the longest. Elder B.U. has been on a bike for 13 months. He got an award for his many miles of cycling. He got a box of Cracker Jacks. His companion got a box too. So that was fun. But thank you for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll be back with more Leaves from my journal. Take care. Bye.